Good morning, sunshine. Tori here. Today I thought I would take you on a little journey in my kitchen because it is about to rain. It was a lovely morning, but the rain slowly came. So I just spent the morning meal planning and having a coffee to myself for probably 1 to 2 minutes, and then the kids came and snuggled along with me. I did want to get this solar lamp attached to the coop outside. My father-in-law gave this to me, and it adds just like the perfect touch so I can see a little bit easier at night, just because the chickens do put themselves to sleep. I just have to close the door. We are trying to make some food stretch in our refrigerator, so I will be using some leftovers to make some delicious meals, and I had to make a pit stop here at our local greenhouse. The starts were on sale for $2, and I got some eucalyptus and some other plants that I will show you probably the beginning of next week or maybe this weekend, and they had some dirt on sale, so of course I had to snatch that up, but I brought Delilah with me and we were just frolicking in the greenhouse. It was really awesome. So I just needed to get some snacks and easy dinners going, just because we weren't sure if baseball would be canceled or not. If you didn't know, baseball, even for 6-year-olds, consumes a lot of your time. So dinner is tricky, but the goal was to just get some easy dinners I could heat up quickly. And I feel like that is the best way we started saving money, just utilizing things we've already had on hand and then utilizing leftovers so food doesn't go to waste. But first things first, the fruit. I feel like if I am going to be saving time in the kitchen, it is going to be with washing fruit. My kids go through so many berries, so I just sprinkled some baking soda in there, and then I put that in a container, dried them off, what was left of them, and put them in the refrigerator. And then I moved on to these Reese's peanut butter cups. I will leave the recipe in the description box. I just loosely followed one. I did cocoa powder and honey with a splash of coconut oil to make that chocolate a little bit runnier. And the flavor we went for this week was just your classic dark chocolate and peanut butter, but we've made raspberry in the past and just added some vanilla to that. We even put some little M&Ms in there before. Just honestly anything. You could put Rice Krispies to make it crispier, or puffed quinoa. That's always a good one. You could also add protein powder to these, but they're pretty versatile. My kids' only complaint is the coconut oil. They can still taste it, so you'd have to use something different. Honestly, the runniness, I guess, doesn't bother me too much just because I have that honey. So I'm getting those back into the refrigerator, and I'm moving on to some deviled eggs. These are easy protein snacks, especially for my son. He tends to, well, actually, no, all of my kids go for the sweets, but I don't know. I don't mean to be strict when it comes to sugar, but artificial sugar really bothers me. And too much fruit really can give them a bellyache. So I love that they love their fruit, but having that balance of sweetness and protein and fiber is something I hold a lot of value to. So yeah, that's where I was going with that. I've moved on to muffins now. Speak of ingredients. This is the Martha White muffin mix, on sale for $1. So typically this is not something I would keep in the house, but I was trying to save money and I had it in the prepper pantry. So I'm going to try and health it up by using the leftover bananas that they stopped eating halfway. They decided they didn't like bananas anymore, apparently. I tasted them. They were fine. I was concerned that there's something wrong with them, but they were fine. And then I'm going to add some vanilla yogurt to the mix. And I mean, it calls for milk, but you really could just do whatever you want with this. And then you could also add vanilla protein powder, which I just added maybe a scoop. I think I had a scoop left. So I'm just cooking it as the package directions say, and then I will go from there. I typically am making bulk muffin mix with freeze-dried strawberries or blueberries. If you want that recipe, let me know. It's super simple. I do it alongside of my pancake recipes, and then I just put it into some mason jars. And sometimes I do biscuits too. That's a fun one. Put them in mason jars and then take the air out of them. But yeah, it's super easy and it's nice to have on hand. Depending on how you like your hard-boiled eggs, we like ours pretty done. I do 11 minutes. I just set a timer and go from there. And then I dunk them in an ice bath. And whenever I make deviled eggs, I also like to make potato salad. This may seem lazy, but while that water's boiling, I don't dump it out. I just put the potatoes directly in there. I don't know if that is recommended, but we've survived it, and it's just easier. So I have these mini red potatoes, and I'm just going to put half of the bag in. And then just a little touch of real life. The kids wanted a second breakfast, so I'm making some toast, and I'm going to try and remember to eat myself. I'm cruising on into the third trimester, and that hyperemesis is still with me, so I have just been getting the ick with food lately. I'm trying my best, but cleaning as I go usually helps me. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do that, but I'm super excited that we have our chickens and ducks again because the food waste is almost completely eradicated. The banana peels I use for banana tea is what they call it. I just use it for fertilizer for my garden. And then I also do the same with store-bought eggshells. I just bake them and crush them up and sprinkle them on my plants. When the girls start laying again, I will use the eggshells and feed it back to them. It's really helpful for their nutrition. So I'm going to attempt to make a good old classic tomato and mayo sandwich, and I'm going to put an egg and cheese on it, kind of like Cracker Barrels, and I'm going to move on with the meal prep, but I feel like we're going pretty smoothly. I did set a timer. I've been doing that lately for myself because sometimes I can get caught up in things, but I set a timer because we were done with school already this morning, but I did want to do a craft that went along with our lesson.
On a Wednesday night at the same old spot, spending every dollar I got. 2, 3 shots won't leave one drop, and a jukebox on lock. She just wanna party all night. We be two-stepping in the back of the dive. I've been down in Jack all night, tending to my keys cause they know I can't drive. On up north with a rose one, stars ain't hard to find. Bottle of the best and you by my side, that's my peace of mind. Damn, we been on the go all day, she just wanna roll with me. From the bar to the stool all night, just you and I, two-stepping in a dive bar.
So usually when the kids are doing a snack, I was trying to multitask there and get the shells off the eggs, and then I washed them off, split them in half, and just did my classic filling, just mayo, mustard, seasonings, and pickle juice, and then I used the rest for the potato salad and added sour cream. I wanted to show you our sweet potato starts. We're starting some new slips, and I also just took our leftover romaine, and I'm waiting for that to root, and then Delilah found this beautiful flower at the greenhouse on the ground. We put some rooting powder in there, and we are going to plant those as well. And then I was just mixing up the potato salad and putting it in the refrigerator. And then I'm moving on to some dinners for the week. So this one's very easy, and it's just a twist on my dad's classic ham and bean soup. I have these smoked pork chops. I had them in the freezer for a while. It was a gift, and I needed to use them up. So I'm putting them in a stock pot, and then I'm dumping those Paisley Farm bean mixes from Costco over top of it, and we're making simply a ham and bean soup, and that will go low and slow, and then I will take the bone out of that pork chop, and that will be a nice dinner to put over some mashed potatoes or rice. The Paisley Farm bean blends is like a sweet and sour combo, so this is kind of a unique take on this soup, but it just works. I always add some sort of acidity to my ham and bean soup, so I guess it doesn't bother me, but it's a literal two-step meal, and it's easy to go with. So I'm gonna get some quinoa cooked with some chicken broth and maybe throw some beans in there. And then here's another two-step meal. It's just ground beef and whatever soup of choice. I like the Pacific organic vegetable meals. They're super easy. And then I'm gonna do some meals, not meals in a jar, but just meals in a container for my husband. So I'm just putting together some lazy lasagna and popping that in the oven so he can take them to work this week. Full disclosure, I ran out of cheese, so I'm using one of these cheese sticks and I'm using the chicken apple sausage to layer these into the pan. I did this recipe probably 3 videos ago, so it's super easy. You're just using the ravioli as your lasagna noodles.
Two-stepping in a dive bar, two-stepping, and I don't give a hoot unless it's you stepping. Then these boots were made for dancing, baby, jukebox playing, you and me singing, phone on silent, let it keep ringing, and I'm standing up on this bar, got us feeling like stars. We ain't going too far till the lights come on, we'll be dancing till dawn. Two-stepping, and I don't give a hoot unless it's you stepping. Then these boots were made for dancing, baby, take my hand, I'll take yours. Drinks get low, and we'll get some more. Born up north with a rosé wine, stars ain't hard to find. Bottle of the best, and you by my side, that's my peace of mind. We've been on the go day, she just wanna roll with me. From the bar to the stool all night, just you and I, two-stepping in a dive bar. Yeah. Two-stepping in a dive bar. Yeah. Two-stepping in a dive bar. I hope you find someone. I hope you find a love. Someone who don't need much. Wind me up, lucky I got my love.
And now I'm moving on to some bread for, I want to say the week, but I know in my heart it's not going to be a week. It's probably going to be 3 days, and I will be back doing this bread. I don't mind. It's therapeutic for me, but I don't like making huge batches of bread and putting it in the freezer. It just takes up a lot of my time. If I have the time, I'll do it, but not today. So I'm putting my yeast in there. I use honey, but you could use whatever you want, but you need something sweet so that yeast will eat something up. And then I do a 16-ounce jar of warm water, and then I just stir that up and put a towel over it, and then I start adding my flour. This recipe calls for 6.5 cups of flour. I just use the recipe on the Costco bag. It's super easy and it works every time, 2 loaves. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope this inspired you to use what you have on hand to make it to that next grocery trip. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.
That's my peace of mind. Damn, we've been on the go day. She just wanna roll with me. From the bar to the stool all night, just you and I, two-stepping in a dive bar. Two-stepping in a dive bar. Two-stepping in a dive bar.